In 1976, Spanish Latin jazz rock drummer extraordinaire Pepe Sanchez released the first of three albums with Sioux Rock Band. The album Regresion, and from that album, the track Sentimento. Did you hear that flex vibra slap? Yeah, that it's not something you can really mimic with your mouth. And we got a lot building up here. We've got that really fuzzy guitar tone. We've got the horns blasting in. We've got the windy, mysterious kind of like foggy vibe. We've got some. Let's. Let's take apart who we've got playing here. The drummer is the namesake of the band, Pete Sanchez, and let's see, uh, trombone, Sigfredo, Vidaurreta, and a lot of credits according to Discogs, like at least 20 albums. Oh, he was also on Pedro Ruy Blas, Dolores, um, Jamie Marquez. Yeah, he's on good. Some of the good albums from this time period. Soprano, sax, flute, baritone sax, M. Morales. Oh, some of the same credits actually. It seems like quite a few of these people had uh, overlapped on some other people's albums. Piano. No, I haven't heard him yet. Oh, guitar. Yeah, we're hearing him a lot. C. Villa. Uh, see, the guy playing guitar on this recording played on some albums by Venica Dobble, the female folk duo who were kind of old. Yeah, they were like it was interesting. They were like born in the 19 early 1930s, but they were making like acid folk, symphonic folk albums, art rock folk in the art pop in the 1970s. Like the point being, they were relatively old for a band that was like taking part in the creative boom of the European creative boom of the 1970s, particularly in that vein of music. It wasn't so rare for people of that age to be stepping over into like jazz funk, but stepping over into like art pop and folk. Most musicians in that vein were born around like 1947 thereabouts with like a 3-year variable. Let's get back to the music and I'll introduce more Okay, two people credited with trumpet on this album. J.L. Medrano. A lot of the same credits that I was mentioning. A few titles by Marquez. I'm not familiar with that artist. And then the other ones, Jamie Marquez and Pedro Ruy Blas. J. Cano. Oh, not a lot of credits for this guy. Oh, actually, I click on another link and yeah, Joan Manuel Serrat. Some familiar names on the Spanish scene. Oh, in the 80s, Radio Futura and Gabinete Galigari. Yeah. Heck, even a Menudo title. Anyone else I didn't mention? Oh, bass E. Gracia. A lot of the same people. It seems within a few year period, there were just all these like jazz rock albums, or several that had overlapping musicians. And once again, a few titles by Vainica Dobble and El Louise. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. Looks interesting. Agua Viva. Yeah. Notice how the ostinato is really persistent, but the soloing over it's just like, oh, just going all kinds of places. I mean, dun 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 dun. I love that how they alternate between like these really tight unison sections where they're playing a theme, and then they cut to these soloing from each of the different brass woodwind players. The guitarist reining in during this section, but still giving everything that kind of sizzle. Like how the drummer's throwing in that hi-hat at during certain bars to give more of that kind of sliding, like on the outro there, that more sliding type feel. And back to the rolls and such. Yeah, Sentimento from Pepe Sánchez Isu Rock Band. The album Regresion that was released in 1976, but I guess was not reissued until 2016. And it was only like a few years ago that I even learned about this album's existence. And to say, I was getting into this album thinking, oh wow, this really kind of, I think, uh, makes quite a difference in my Spanish hierarchy. Let's hear another track from the album, Mi Tierra. I just realized that one of the brass players I didn't mention yet. Let's see, Pedro Iturralde actually has a solo career that goes back to like 1967. Played a bunch of albums kind of with variations of the title Jazz Flamenco or Flamenco Jazz on on Hispavox. Yeah. And 97 credits according to Discogs. Yeah, he's on this album. He's credited with tenor and soprano sax and trumpet. Yeah, I think he's the only guy. He's the only one I've mentioned who actually has had solo albums to the name. The others just all have backing credits. I'm hearing just snare and kick drum, but he's really cooking up something here. Way that he's throwing these rolls and these just these lightning rolls at the end of each bar, like just kicking each new bar into like higher into just. we're just going like half a step in this. We're going na 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 G G a sharp sharp G G dun dun, dun like yeah, just kind of like half step. I love the sound of those drums. He really good acoustics in the environment they recorded this in, and some great soloing, of course, from our brass woodwind players there. Really pushed to the limit by Pepe Sanchez. You know, with fills like that, you can't help but give it your best, no matter what you're playing there, and some kind of strummy, kind of acoustic guitar, Spanish guitar in the background, kind of reeling it in. But well, just providing the rhythmic backdrop to the great like drum rolls and brass soloing that we heard there. And yeah, the track Mi Tierra, and before that, Sentimento by Spanish drummer Pepe Sanchez, Isu Rock Band from their 1976 album Regresion, released on Marfer in 1976. And the band would release two more albums in the early 80s on Hispavox. Yeah, and I'm surprised that it took 40 years for this album to resurface. And yeah, I was getting so hooked on this album that I think it's about time that I make a change to my short list of Iberian albums. Yeah, I think this gives like Campania Electrica Dharma and some of those guys a run for run for their money. Of course, the whole album's pretty intense though. The intensity that I just shared with you is just like about 20% of the overall greatness of the front to back album. Anyway, for more rubies and sapphires from the Pete Sanchez Sue Rock Band album Regresion, see the directory of albums by Spanish artists linked in the description below. For red hot tracks and tasty purples from this album, as well as from many other albums from Spanish jazz rock artists, or for that matter, just jazz rock from the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal, as well as in other veins of music, you know, symphonic rock, hard rock, electronic, new wave, singer-songwriter, folk. Yeah. And like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the instrumentals, the layers, the soloing, which solo really stood out to you, who do you think had the best chops and all. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.